Apostasy is at an all-time high. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Welcome to another live lesson. You heard the name of it. Apostasy is at an all-time high. And pretty much what's going on right now is nothing new. This was going on back during the time of Yahweh Shai. It was going on after Yahweh Shai went back to the Father and the apostles were set up with the rest of the teachers that were out there teaching. And there was a great apostasy that took place. A lot of former believers in the truth fell away, started searching, other avenues of so-called truth, which was not truth, but they were being led by seducing spirits. They were being deceived, and makes me think of the book of Jude, because pretty much we're in the book of Jude all over again. Now, prior to me starting the lesson, I went to the Red Bible that we have, which is a King James authorized version of the Bible, and in there, when you go to the different books, it gives you an approximate date when all of these books were written. Now, it's funny because the book of Jude, according to that, was written in 66 AD. And 66 AD was the beginning of the rebellion or the revolt of the zealots against the Roman Empire. That was like the last one of the last straws leading up to 70 AD. So prior to the destruction of Jerusalem, there was a lot of the gospel was being trampled, pretty much. That's why Yahweh Shai said, "Cast not your pearls before swine, neither give that which is holy unto the dogs, lest they turn around and rend you." So pretty much this is what's happening right now. You have these individuals that have got disenchanted, that have got, in their feelings, that have got caught up into the seducing spirits of these false doctrines, and they pretty much have thrown and are throwing out the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the true gospel that was taught to them at once. And pretty much the inspiration of this video came from a video I was watching earlier. We were all wrong. He is a so-called black man. And those of you that watched the video, that Fopi now is teaching that the original, or that the Edomites in general are, so-called black people with red hair. And I guess Sharshem is an Edomite because he said he found the red hair in his beard. So, like Lauryn Hill said, some nappy heads got to check their neck for red. So anyways, now one of the things they taught that Esau is a so-called black man, which they're not. Now you do have black Edomites because Esau mixed his, seed among Jake, and you do have some dark-skinned looking individuals out there that you would swear up and down they were Israelites, but they're really Edomites. But Esau as a whole, the nation of Esau, are so-called white people. Now you had this woman in there running her mouth, and pretty much, they'll say that Esau took Canaanite women. So if he had a Canaanite woman, that means the children were going to come out dark. He also took women of Ishmael, and Ishmaelites were brown skinned, So pretty much they're saying that the children will come out looking dark, so they would no longer, be, looking like so-called white people, if the case were that they were so-called white, which they were really red. So there's a lot of madness going on. But here it is, you have two dark-skinned people that can have a white-looking baby, but it's impossible for the Most High to keep the color of Esau on them. The Lord said that that's a curse, a direct curse upon them, and that they are the people of the Lord's curse. But nevertheless, in this madness also, well, before we get into that, let's go into the word apostasy. Apostasy, it says deflection, revolt. So they're revolting against the Most High. They're revolting against the true gospel. they were so disenchanted that they actually took Yahweh name out of the equation. Now they're calling him Yeshua. You know, so it's like these guys are pretty much gone. And pretty much after a while, you're not going to see any semblance of what they used to teach, you know, of the true doctrine and gospel that was taught by Elder Abba Bivens and the rest of the elders back then. You're going to barely see any semblance, if any. So it says, is the formal disaffiliation from, abandonment, or renunciation of a religion by a person. It can also be defined within the broader context of embracing an opinion that is contrary to one's previous religious beliefs. One who undertakes apostasy is known as an apostate. Undertaking apostasy is called apostatizing, or apostatizing, also spelled apostatizing. The term apostasy is used by sociologists to mean the renunciation and criticism of, or opposition to, a person's former religion, in a technical sense with no pejorative connotation. So pretty much, you know, it's giving up their religious beliefs, their old religious beliefs, which dealing with the scriptures. Now, when we go real quick, just to move this along, we go real quick to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. Because at one time you were walking down the wrong path, you heard a word behind thee, and they led you to the truth. But some could not endure it, and they threw the truth away, and reverted back to the same shit they was into before, or some new doctrine that came up that they embraced. So they left their former beliefs. And you shall find rest for your souls, but they said we will not walk therein, right? Because they don't want to walk in the truth, you know, because they got cursed out, or they got offended, or whatever the case was, that whatever happened to them. Now, one thing in this video that they kept harping on was about the Moabites. That, yeah, you know, the Moabites, you know, they're related to us, and blah, 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 this, that, the other. Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to get technical, everybody on the planet Earth is related to each other, going back to Adam. So what are you saying? Next, they read in the book of Deuteronomy 23, right, about thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, which that doesn't mean that. But nevertheless, here it is. They're bigging up Moab, right? And Ammon too, but mainly Moab. And here in Deuteronomy 23:3, it says, an Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to the 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai forever. So what's the point? What's the point of, you know, of that? What's the point of saying that we're related to the Ammonite? What, now they can be a part of this? No, they can't. The scriptures say they can't be a part of this. Man, what the hell's going on here? Hey, listen, I don't know what's going on with this individual here, John Dalton, but you know, we don't know who you are, you know, and you can't just come on people's platform and just ask for money. We don't know who you are. We don't know what you're up to, what you do. Jake, boy, I tell you. Anyways, moving on. When you go to Genesis 10 and 22, it says the children of Shem. Anyone that comes out of Shem is a Shemite. All right. Then he says that the Moabites are Hebrews, which they are. You know, and we're going to address that. You have many families of the Hebrews. All right. So you have Shem, right? The children of Shem are Elam, which the Elamites or the East Indians are Shemitic Hebrews, and Ashur, which are the Assyrians, they're Shemitic Hebrews, and Arphaxad, You know, you had different families that came out of Arphaxad and Lud and Aram, which are the Syrians. So you have right here. So pretty much, you know, here it is. You know, you have these individuals that are part of the Shemitic family, you know, that are all, you know, that are all Shemitic. But then they'll have somebody come up and say you are anti-Sem, you know, which is not the case, because there are many different families of the Shemitic people. The man's name is not Sem, it's Shem, by the way. All right, so you have many Shemitic people. Now you have the Ishmaelites that came out of this line, you know, out of the line of Shem. You have the Moabites that came out of that line. You have the Ammonites that came out of that line, so on and so forth. But just because they came out of that line doesn't mean that they are a part of this. Doesn't mean that they are, just because they may be related, far distant cousin, whatever, doesn't mean that they are part of the family of Israel. That's just not it. They're not part of the family. They're not a part of the chosen people. Romans 9:3 it says, "For I could wish that myself were accursed from the Messiah for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption." Now, what is the adoption? Yahushua died on the cross and adopting the nation of Israel back to the Father. That's why he mentioned Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. And he said, "My kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory," which the glory is the kingdom of heaven, "and the covenants," which you have the covenants, the first and second covenant, which is the old and new covenants, which belong to who? The nation of Israel. It wasn't given to any other nation. "And the giving of the law." The law was only given to the nation of Israel. You go to Psalms 147 chapter, the 19th and 20th verse, and it tells you that. "And the service of the Most High." So what are the service, or who is the service of the Most High given to? The nation of Israel. What is the service of the Most High? The priesthood, all right, was given to the nation of Israel. It says, "And the promises." What are the promises? He made to Abraham. There was a promise, a particular promise made to Abraham. Not to everybody. Not just because you come out of the line of Shem. No, you have to have, it's a particular line that the Lord gave that promise to. Now, the Moabites and the Ammonites are related to Abraham through Lot, but that's as far as it goes. All right? It says, "Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Yahushua came." So he only came for the Israelites. Bottom line. "Who is over all, the Most High, blessed forever, so be true. Not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel," right? Because you have some Israelites that are not a part of the chosen. They're not part of the elect. And you have some that are part of the elect. Then it goes on to say, "Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children." Because even though the Moabites and the Ammonites didn't come out of that particular line of Abraham, they came out before. They came out of, Lot. No, they were still closely related. But so what? The Lord made a promise to Abraham and to his seed. Abraham had 8 seeds. And Ammon and Moab were not one of those seeds. And out of those 8 seeds, there was only one that was chosen. So it says, "Neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called." Why? Because there was a promise that was made, a chosen line. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, meaning those that came out of Abraham's nutsack, these are not the children of the Most High. So just because you came out of that line doesn't mean that you are a part of the chosen or a part of the promise. But the children of the promise are counted for the seed. And it goes on to tell you that seed was who? It was from Abraham to Isaac to Israel. All right, so any other nation outside of that is not a part of this. I don't care how closely related they are. I don't care if they call themselves Hebrews. I don't care if they call themselves Shemitic. They are not a part of the children of the promise, which came through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Any seed that came out of Jacob, those are all the children of the promise. All right? Then when we go to Philippians 3:3, it says, "For we are the circumcision," this is the Apostle Paul speaking, "which worship the Most High in the Spirit, and rejoice in Yahushua HaMashiach, and have no confidence in the flesh. Though I might have though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more, circumcised the 8th day, of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin. So he's running down his pedigree. He had a very high pedigree. A Hebrew of the Hebrews. What does that mean? You had other families of the Hebrews. All right? But he is of the stock of the Hebrew of the Hebrews, because just because you're in Hebrew doesn't mean that you're a part of the chosen, because you have many different Hebrew families. But the one Hebrew family that the Most High was dealing with was the nation of Israel. Bottom line, period. But here it is. These guys are trying to put something, segue something else in there that is not in there. They're adding to the scriptures and taking away from the scriptures. As touching the law, a Pharisee. So he's breaking down his pedigree. All right? So in Deuteronomy 23:3, an Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to the 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. So what is the point of mentioning that the Moabites are the family of Israel? So what? They're still not going to be a part of this. They're still not going to be saved. They're going to be servants, slaves. And that's about as far as it goes. Because there was a particular line. You know? And these guys talking about that the Edomites are so-called black people that have red hair. How stupid is that, man? First of all, it didn't say that Esau had red hair. It said he was red all over like a hairy garment, meaning he had red skin all over like you have a red garment. Because back then they used to take the skins of certain animals and dye them red. All right? Because it's not talking about a red animal. Because a red animal is ruddy, which is a brownish color. But when you go to Exodus, I think it's Exodus. You see the Exodus or Leviticus? Let me see. 25, this is it. Exodus 25:5. And rams' skins dyed red. When you look at the dyes that they had back then, let me see, dyed. Let me just type in garment, see what comes up. All right, red dyed garments. See? It was a red dye that they would use to color the garments. These are some examples here. And years ago, you used to be able to find some really good ones. Let me see. You used to be able to find some really good ones. And they show you the different red color garments. Let me see something. Red dyed animal skins. Let me try animal skin, see what happens. See? Red, like a burgundy-ish color. These are animal skins. See, look at that. Animal skins dyed red. So Esau was red all over like a hairy garment. You know? His skin color was red. All right? His skin color was red. And he may have had red hair too, you know? Scriptures don't really say he had red hair, just say he was red all over like a hairy garment. You know? So this is red dyed garments. That's why it compared it to a hairy garment. Because the garments back then of animals that were, the skin was taken off of them, and then it was dyed different colors depending on what the person wanted, depending on what the flavor of the day was. I guess we better learn that song. Am I Edomite? This is madness, you know. And it's even silly to even address this stuff, but you know what? It's got to be done because we are defenders of the gospel, and at the same time, you know, the gospel is being attacked on all fronts, on all levels. You know, so we must do that. Okay, so here goes another one. All right, see how that's red? That's a little darker red. this one here. All right. Let me see what it says. Let me see if we type in red dyed ram skins. Let's see what happens if we type in ram skins. Dyed or gory. This is a goat skin. See? Goat skin. Let's see if they have any ram skins. This is reed buck hides. Ram skin right here. This is a ram skin. And you can see it's a bright red. See it? Ram's skin. Look at how red it is. This is not brown, this is red. Now when you type in ruddy animals, it's totally different color than red. Ruddy animals. That's why they say, you know, see, there's brown. Ruddy animals are brown. They have like an orange, reddish type tint. All right. And that's why it says all over like in hairy garment, because they dyed the garments red. This is if you had an animal hide this color, you can't really dye that too much. You know, but then you had certain animals that were brighter colors that you can dye their skins red, as you see here. And this here, this is a ram skin, bright red. All right. So the Moabites can't come into the congregation of the Lord. So I don't understand why they would even bring that up, that they were related to the Israelites, you know, as a what? As they could be saved now? Even in the scripture that you read, the 7th verse and the 8th verse, but did you miss this? You missed the 3rd verse? That they can't come into the congregation of the Lord forever? Anyways, you know, just wanted to say a few words on that. It was something that was on my mind. Apostasy is at an all-time high, you know, because we're pretty much in the time of Jude all over again. And remember, when I looked at the book of Jude was written around 66 AD. That was prior to Israel falling completely. So we're at the point now where the gospel is being attacked, just like it was being attacked back then. And shortly after that attacking of the gospel, Jake fell. And they're about to head for a big fall this time. And this is going to be the time of Jacob's trouble. And we pray it be this year, you know, because it's about that time for the Lord to really start bringing the pain on these clowns out here, you know, so they could learn some respect for the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai on all fronts, on all levels, when it comes to the truth, when it comes to the Lord's name, and ultimately when it comes to the respect of his men, you know, the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So, Lord's will, you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Whoever's to receive it can receive it. And whoever cannot receive it, then you can go with FOPE, or you can go with whatever other group suits your needs. You know, we're just here to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, O Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we become your enemies because we tell you the truth. And if so be it, then so be it. Shalom.